Welcome into Falcons Today. I am Tom Downey, and if you want the Panthers to be swept by the Falcons with a win on Thursday Night Football by Atlanta, then sub for Dubs right now. We've got free Falcons videos for you all season and off-season long, and it's backed by science and data that when you subscribe, the Falcons are more likely to win football games. Let's keep that momentum rolling. Subscribe if you want Atlanta to take down Carolina on Thursday Night Football. Week 10 is here, and the NFL schedule this week begins with the Falcons on the road against the Carolina Panthers, who, man, they looked just horrible last week. If you didn't catch that game, it was let's call it what it was, a dumpster fire performance by Carolina. They've not looked very good overall this year. They did compete a little bit against Atlanta and somehow beat the Bucs, which makes no sense. But Carolina's 2-7, Atlanta's 4-5. The Falcons, correctly and understandably, are a road favorite in prime time in what, unless you're a Falcons or Panthers fan, if we're being objective here, might not be the most entertaining or appealing game on Thursday Night Football this year. Let's begin our preview. We'll get to some keys of the game with injuries first and foremost. We'll come back to A.J. Terrell since he's so important. Matt Hennessy already ruled out by Arthur Smith, so it's going to be Colby Gossett at guard. That's interesting here. Erik Harris has a foot injury. I don't know if he's going to be able to go. Seems like Felipe Franks will likely not go. That's not the end of the world. He's a backup anyway. A.J. Terrell's the one I want out there. He's so good when he's playing. You want him against DJ Moore despite some inconsistencies in a major way this year from P.J. Walker. We'll know more about Terrell soon. Fingers crossed he's able to go, but they're not going to jeopardize Terrell for the long term, even if it's just a hamstring, by forcing him to play on Thursday Night Football. If he doesn't go this week, I bet he's back next week. Carolina, meanwhile, has estimated all of the injuries here. Brian Burns should be able to play. Derrick Brown will label TBD with that illness. Chuba Hubbard says he's going to be able to go, so that should be fine there. Henderson as well. Matt Ioannidis probably not going to go. He's battling a back injury. Lavish, Shenault, and Rashard Higgins, we'll see. It's illness. I tend to lean they'll play, but they don't always play. Donte Jackson should be able to go. Justin Burris, probably not. And the fullback, Giovanni Ricci, should play with a neck. So the ones to really monitor there, probably not going to have Justin Burris, Matt Ioannidis. The illness guys, we'll see. Everyone else should be able to play for Carolina. Who do you have winning this game? ATL for the Falcons, CAR for the Panthers. I'd like to see the comments section flooded with ATLs, but we need you to make that happen. So go down to the pinned comments and type in ATL if you have the Falcons winning, CAR if you have the Panthers. It is the pinned comments on today's video. You know the drill, right? Ad break comes on YouTube. Head down there and type in ATL. Get to my keys to the victory. Contain P.J. Walker / make P.J. Walker be normal. I don't know. Do better than he did last time. It's stopping the Panthers quarterback because we'll get into that here. The Panthers are going to start P.J. Walker again against the Falcons. Baker Mayfield came in and replaced Walker at halftime of an embarrassing blowout performance against Cincinnati Bengals. Sam Darnold also activated. He's not going to go yet. So it will be P.J. Walker, who did some big plays against the Falcons. 19 of 36 for 317 yards. That's a pretty wild, almost 17 yards per completion. Now you make it the attempts, and it's still a very strong 8.8, one interception, one INT. And you know what? Maybe Carolina wins that game if the kicker isn't bad or if they don't get, I'll call it what it was, a bad penalty on DJ Moore. But hey, the Falcons are to win that game anyway. The P.J. Walker we saw against the Bengals was a dumpster fire. 3 of 10 for 9 yards, 2 interceptions, and a 2.6 QBR. To put that in perspective, 2.6 is the difference between what P.J. Walker had and what a dead person would have of 0. Like, you can almost get no lower than that if you're P.J. Walker. He was terrible. You might be wondering, okay, why haven't they gone back to Baker Mayfield now that he's healthy? Panthers aren't stupid. If Baker Mayfield plays 70% of the snaps this year, that 5th-round pick, the Panthers or the Browns, becomes a 4th-rounder. That's upwards of 40, almost a 40-spot difference when you factor in comp picks. So, yeah, the Panthers don't want to give that up when they know their season is over. So I'm fine having to face P.J. Walker, especially if it's the Bengals version / the I think, what is closer to the normal. Not quite that bad, but not as good as it was against the Falcons, and somehow beat the Bucs. Football's weird sometimes. Of those two QBs, who scares you more? PJ for PJ Walker, BM for Baker Mayfield. Sound off for me in the comments section. Let me know which quarterback you would rather not have to play. We'll talk about Kyle Pitts more in depth in a moment here, but Kyle Pitts jerseys are available at chatsports.com/Pitts. Links in the comments section and in the description. Get yourself a Kyle Pitts jersey today. Reppy, who is still a very key, important part of the offense long term. I know the numbers are down this year, but we'll talk more in depth about Pitts here in a little bit. It's chatsports.com/Pitts. Next key to victory is continuing the run dominance. And the Falcons, and I give Arthur Smith a ton of credit. I think his game plans are top-notch. The Falcons have run the ball with immense success this year, whether it's Cordarrelle Patterson, Tyler Allgeier, or even Caleb Huntley. And last week, it was a dynamic 1-2 punch. Cordarrelle Patterson was almost used as the touchdown vulture in his first game back, 13 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns to the delight of fantasy owners everywhere. Tyler Allgeier had 99 yards on 10 carries, a 44-yard run mixed in there, but that's still 9 for 55. He was really good. That, I think, was one of the better games we've seen Allgeier play. The Falcons have run the ball as well as about any team in the NFL because you can use the legs of Marcus Mariota as well. 201 total yards on the ground last week for Atlanta, 5.7 yards per carry. They've been very good. On the flip side, Joe Mixon is coming off one of the best games of his career against a Panthers team. So in theory, Mixon runs the ball well against Carolina. The Falcons run the ball already. Should be a recipe for big games on the ground. Mixon, 22 carries, 153 yards, 5 total touchdowns. I don't think Atlanta will have 5 TDs between Cordarrelle Patterson and Tyler Allgeier, but they can run for 200 again. If you want free Falcons videos, then subscribe. We are 57 subs away from 8,400. So if you haven't already and you want free videos on the Falcons, then subscribe right now. Next key to victory is, how about you use some play action here? I'm looking at the numbers in terms of play action this year, and the Falcons have run play action at the tied for third most rate in the NFL. Justin Herbert leads the way, Kirk Cousins, and then Marcus Mariota and Tua are tied at 96 dropbacks in play action this year. Mariota averaging a very impressive 9 yards per attempt. That figure, by the way, is top 10 among qualifying QBs this season. Mariota does a good job on the play action, and it makes life easy on your QB. And you have already, in reality, established the run because teams know you can and will run the football. You don't have to prove that because teams are not going to play much too high coverage. They will put a man in the box on you earlier. What you should do is try to continue to get Kyle Pitts involved off the play action, ideally behind tight ends. It's a trickier throw, and you're trying to layer throws in there behind your linebackers, between your safeties. Pitts did not do much against the Chargers. He's been up and down this year. Against the Panthers, though, he had 5 catches, 80 yards, and a score. I would like more of that, not just because Pitts is on my fantasy team. Now, in general, especially when it comes to Kyle Pitts, it's very much a results-based business. So even if the progression as Kyle Pitts is, for example, Kyle Pitts has been the number 1 read many times this year. Doesn't always go to him because he's not open or Mario doesn't trust it or whatever. They don't have time, etc. Everyone got excited when they ran the little swing pass to Kyle Pitts out of the backfield. He was 3rd in the progression on that read. So it's not that was not a design play for Kyle Pitts. The result got him the football, and we all loved it, but you got to find a way to better execute when Pitts is one of your main reads. Hopefully that is the case against Carolina. Now when it comes to Pitts, will he score a touchdown against Carolina? Y for yes, N for no. I'm going to speak it into existence. Let me know in the comments, Y or N. Finally, don't turn the football over. I mentioned play action. Mario does have 3 entries off play action, which is fine. This is a game the Falcons, I think, pretty clearly should win. I don't want to be overly mean to Carolina, but they suck. So this is a game the Falcons should win, potentially by multiple scores. They should be able to control the line of scrimmage, run the football, don't make the stupid mistake, and give Carolina a chance. Atlanta should win this game, run the football, control the clock, and don't turn the football over against Carolina.